On the eve of our wedding, my fiancé Finch suddenly brought back his childhood sweetheart and first love, Zara Luo. Without consulting me, Finch let Zara Luo move into our new home that was prepared for our marriage. He also told me that he would have to take care of Zara Luo from now on and would have no time to prepare for the wedding with me. I considerately reminded Finch that since there was no time for the wedding, we should postpone it for now. Without waiting for Finch's reply, I went to his immediate superior, retrieved the marriage application with Finch, tore it up, and threw it into the filthy gutter. I've suffered enough from loving Finch in my past life. In this lifetime, I won't marry him again. Later, Finch took the initiative to ask me to marry him, but I calmly told him that I was getting married, and the groom was his immediate superior. Sky, I'm afraid I can't help you plan the wedding anymore. Zara is in such a state right now that she needs me by her side at all times, so you'll have to handle the wedding preparations on your own. One moment I was struggling in the icy river, feeling despair and death, and the next I heard Finch's voice. I stared blankly at Finch, only snapping back to reality when he repeated himself. I had been reborn. Reborn to the time when Finch came to discuss with me about planning the wedding alone so he could take care of his childhood friend Zara Luo. In my previous life, Finch brought Zara Luo back half a month before our wedding. He took it upon himself to place Zara Luo in our marital home, and then came to discuss the matter of settling Zara Luo with me. It was called a discussion, but he had already made up his mind long ago. He was just informing me. Finch said that Zara Luo had encountered some unspeakable hardships and was suffering from severe psychological issues, and only he could comfort her. Finch said he had received favors from Zara Luo's family, so to repay their kindness, he must help Zara Luo recover. In my previous life, I loved Finch and believed everything he said without question. My sympathy immediately surged, and I agreed to take care of Zara Luo with him to help her recover. Zara Luo couldn't be without Finch. She needed his company at all times. I planned my wedding with Finch all by myself. On the day of the ceremony, Zara Luo suddenly fell ill and fainted at the scene. The groom, Finch, abandoned me and rushed Zara Luo to the hospital in a frantic hurry. After Finch and Zara Luo left, they never returned, leaving me alone to force a smile in front of the guests. I struggled through the wedding alone, thinking that Zara Luo fainting at my and Finch's wedding was just a coincidence. Little did I expect that Zara Luo's episodes would become increasingly frequent and more unbelievable later on. She would suddenly collapse and fall unconscious at our bedroom door during intimate moments between Finch and me. She would frequently call Finch away at night out of fear, leaving me, his wife, to accompany her. Finch spent all of our savings on his childhood friend Zara Luo. He went out of his way for Zara Luo, completely ignoring me, his wife. I felt heartbroken. But because I loved Finch, I endured it silently. I always thought that once Zara Luo's illness was cured, Finch and I would return to our former sweet and loving relationship, but I was terribly wrong. 2 years after marrying Finch, I became pregnant. When I was 3 months pregnant, Zara Luo used the excuse of having an episode to push me down from the attic. I lost the child. And instead of comforting me, my husband spent all his time with Zara Luo, who was having her episode. I couldn't figure out why Finch was so cruel and heartless to me, until later when Zara Luo told me the truth. Zara Luo said that she and Finch were childhood sweethearts who had only separated due to various reasons. Now they have rekindled their old flame and are planning to be together. Zara Luo said she wasn't sick at all. She had been pretending, just to keep Finch. Like a bolt from the blue, I cannot accept such a thing. So I went to Finch and told him about Zara Luo faking her illness, asking him to make a choice and send Zara Luo away. Finch refused, and Zara Luo attempted suicide to frame me and ruin my reputation. Finch chose to believe Zara Luo, thinking I was the one who drove her to attempt suicide. He said my thoughts were filthy and I was unworthy of being his wife. To protect Zara Luo from being bullied by me, he heartlessly sent me to the countryside to reflect on my mistakes. The heavy farm work overwhelmed me, and every day I had to face various forms of harassment and bullying. Eventually, on a cold winter night, I slipped and fell into the icy river, never getting the chance to see the sun rise again. After confirming that I had been given a second chance, I did not agree to take on all the wedding arrangements myself like I did in my previous life with Finchen. Instead, I said to him, "I've been quite busy with work lately and don't have time to prepare for the wedding." Finchen was taken aback for a moment before replying, "Then what should we do about our wedding? In my previous life, I couldn't see through the man before me. I thought he loved me as much as I loved him, and because of this so-called love, I wove a beautiful fairy tale for myself and got deeply entangled in it. I took on all the wedding preparations myself." Finchen didn't spend a single thought on it. "I was too foolish in my past life, burying myself for love. Since I've been given a chance to start over in this life, I must settle every single matter with him, one by one. The first thing, of course, is to break off the engagement with Finchen. The wedding will definitely not take place," I said calmly. "If it really can't be helped, then let's postpone the wedding." Postpone? Finchen looked at me incredulously. He knew perfectly well how much I wanted to marry him. Before Zara Luo arrived, I had been counting the stars and longing for the moon, eagerly anticipating becoming his wife. Now, I had actually taken the initiative to propose postponing the wedding, which greatly surprised Finchen. He tentatively asked me, "Sky, are you angry?" "No, I'm not angry." Finchen didn't believe my words. He was convinced that I was angry because he was taking care of Zara Luo. Surprisingly, he broke his usual silence and explained to me, "Sky, I owe Zara's family too much. I have to help her. My feelings for her are only out of gratitude. The one I like is you." In my previous life, I believed Finchen's lies, which ultimately cost me my life. This time around, I feel no emotional turmoil over his words, just a thoughtful reminder. "I know you have a kind heart. And I know you're helping Comrade Luo out of gratitude. Since Comrade Luo will have a relapse without you, you should hurry and take care of her to prevent any accidents." Finchen still wanted to explain, but I pushed him out. "I just remembered I have something to take care of at the office." He opened his mouth but eventually left helplessly. After sending Finchen away, I headed straight to the military unit where he was stationed. It had been a week since Finchen and I submitted our marriage application. I must find a way to retrieve and destroy the marriage report. In this lifetime, I will not marry Finchen. The process of retrieving the marriage report was nerve-wracking. I found the staff member who had initially submitted the report and used the excuse of incorrect information to ask her to help me get it back. The staff member told me that the marriage report had long been handed over to Finchen's superior, Chief GU. Based on the timeline, Chief GU should have already approved the marriage report. Upon hearing this, I broke out in a cold sweat. A military marriage application is no trivial matter. It is protected by law. If the marriage report with Finchen gets approved, then I won't be able to change the outcome of marrying him. I shamelessly said every nice thing I could to the staff, almost to the point of kneeling. The staff agreed to help me ask and see if it could be retrieved. While the staff went to inquire for me, I was as anxious as an ant on a hot pan. After waiting for about half an hour, the staff finally appeared and handed me the marriage report I had submitted. I took it, thanked her profusely, and quickly left. On my way back, I found a secluded spot, tore the marriage report into shreds, and threw it into a filthy ditch. With the matter of the marriage report settled, the next thing I needed to prepare for was to cut ties and end things with Finchen. I hurried non-stop to the wedding house with Finchen, pushed the door open, and saw no one in the living room. I strode straight to the master bedroom, pushed the door open, and immediately saw a person lying on the wedding bed. It goes without saying that it was Zara Luo. The house Finchen and I got married in was allocated by the military, and all the wedding items were bought by me. I remember in my previous life, Finchen brought Zara Luo back and they directly moved into our wedding home. Zara Luo used all the things I had prepared for the wedding without any hesitation. She even used my and Finchen's wedding bed and wedding quilt without asking first. In my previous life, when Finchen arranged for Zara Luo to stay in our wedding home, he clearly told me that Zara Luo would be staying in the guest room and would not touch anything in the master bedroom. Although I wasn't too happy about outsiders staying in our marital home first, considering Zara Luo's poor health and unfortunate background, I suppressed my displeasure. The first time I met Zara Luo, I specifically bought 2 pounds of pork ribs, made rib soup, and brought it to see her. To my surprise, when I arrived at the marital home, I saw Zara Luo lying comfortably on the marital bed in the master bedroom that belonged to Finshin and me. I was so shocked at the time that it was hard to describe. I was trembling with anger and demanded to know why she was lying on our marital bed. Zara Luo didn't answer my question but instead pretended to be frightened, had a fit, foamed at the mouth, and soiled all the bedding I had prepared for my wedding. Finshin, who arrived shortly after, immediately held and comforted her. He also blamed Zara Luo's so-called episode on me, saying it was caused by my frightening her in my previous life. I never imagined that all of this was deliberately orchestrated by Zara Luo. If I get another chance, I want to see how she plans to perform. Hearing the sound of the door being pushed open, Zara Luo, who was lying on the bed, immediately sat up. She calmly met my gaze. With the mental preparation from my previous life, I wasn't angry or furious. I just looked at Zara Luo calmly. I clearly saw a fleeting look of resentment and mockery in Zara Luo's eyes. "Who are you? Who told you you could sleep in my wedding bed?" I questioned her just as I had in my previous life. But before I could even finish, Zara Luo immediately clutched her chest and started foaming at the mouth. In my past life, seeing her foam at the mouth had startled me. And as a doctor, I rushed to give her emergency aid. This time, I also rushed over quickly. But it wasn't to save Zara Luo. Instead, he grabbed Zara Luo by the hair and yanked her heavily off the bed. Zara Luo, seeing me rush over quickly, thought I was coming to help her. She had no guard up against me and continued foaming at the mouth. It wasn't until I dragged her by the hair off the bed and slammed her hard against the cabinet that she realized what I was doing. Zara Luo let out a painful cry, dropped the act, and tried to fight back. But she had already miscalculated a step and was completely at a disadvantage. The hatred from being slandered in my previous life made me grab her hair and slam her head against the cabinet again and again with force. Zara Luo was not as tall as me and was completely passive, disoriented after just a few hits from me. She let out painful cries and tried to scratch me with all her strength. My hand was inevitably scratched. But I had no intention of letting go. The pain I suffered from her framing and scheming in my past life isn't so easily forgotten. I continued to strike with deadly force, one blow after another. Zara Luo was finally knocked unconscious by me. Seeing Zara Luo really faint, I finally let go. Zara Luo collapsed limply to the ground, and I let out a cold laugh as I looked at her unconscious form. I quickly stripped off Zara Luo's clothes, then went outside and raised my voice to shout, "Come quickly. Someone in my house is having a seizure and harming themselves." Hearing my call, neighbors came rushing from all directions. Zara Luo, completely naked, was urgently carried downstairs and taken to the hospital. I also went to the hospital, and along the way, I vividly described the process of Zara Luo's attack to the people who were taking her there. As soon as I opened the door, I saw her lying on the master bedroom bed without any clothes on, foaming at the mouth and repeatedly banging her head against the wall. I heard from Finshin that she's not right in the head and has been receiving treatment. I just added a little extra detail to what Finshin told me when I shared it with the neighbors who wanted to know the truth. Everyone heard that Zara Luo, a single woman, was arranged by Finshin to move into the wedding house we had prepared for our marriage, and she was lying on our wedding bed without a stitch of clothing. Everyone's look at me changed. I could feel their gazes looking at me as if I were a fool. I knew my embellishments had already taken effect. In my previous life, I didn't amplify the incident where Zara Luo stayed in the marital home meant for Finshin and me, so no one knew about it. Now I'm bringing this matter into the open. Finshin's childhood friend lying completely naked on the wedding bed Finshin and I had prepared for our marriage. What kind of situation is this? I know that within 2 hours, this incident will spread throughout a 10-kilometer radius, and there will be various embellished versions, each one undoubtedly quite scandalous. After all, what decent person would lie naked on someone else's wedding bed, which is prepared for marriage, whose future spouse would suddenly bring another young woman to live in their own marital home? The affair between Zara Luo and Finshin will soon become the talk of the town. But this is only the first step. After all, I need to reclaim all the suffering I endured in my past life, and with interest, Finshin received the news and rushed to the hospital, where Zara Luo was still unconscious. He yelled at me as soon as he saw me. What happened? Why was Zara sent to the hospital unconscious when she was perfectly fine? Comrade Luo might have had an episode. When I arrived, she was completely naked, banging her head against the cabinet. She was foaming at the mouth and even attacked me. I showed Finchen my hand, which had been scratched by Zara Luo. I was terrified seeing her like that and hurried to stop her, but she wouldn't listen. Look at what she did to my hand. Finchen stared at my scratched hand in shock. She hurt herself and attacked you during her episode. Yes, her episode was terrifying. She took off her clothes, hurt herself, and attacked me. It scared me to death. Before I could finish speaking, Zara Luo woke up, screaming and shouting from inside. Finchen, worried about Zara Luo, rushed in immediately to check on the situation. I heard Zara Luo crying to Finchen, complaining that I hit her. Originally, she intended to intimidate me, but she miscalculated and ended up being the one who got beaten, losing all face. Zara Luo's anger is understandable. She tearfully complained to Finchen, accusing me of barging in and hitting her without any reason, saying I was too cruel and that I wanted to kill her. Everything she said was true, but Finchen didn't believe her. After all, I'm known for my good temper. Why would I hit her for no reason? Finchen always thought Zara Luo was genuinely ill, so he believed this was all a hallucination caused by her condition. Finchen just gently comforted Zara Luo, trying to calm her down. Zara Luo kept crying and making a scene, and in the end, Finchen had to promise to punish me, the perpetrator. Before she finally settled down, the show was almost over, and I didn't stay at the hospital but went straight back to the dorm. Zara Luo's incident caused a huge stir, and along the way, people kept asking me about the situation. I explained it to everyone I encountered, spreading the story of Finchen and Zara Luo far and wide. By the time Finchen found a moment to leave the hospital and come looking for me, he noticed that everyone was looking at him differently. He hasn't noticed anything amiss yet, and his first thought is still of Zara Luo. Zara is acting this way because of her condition. Sky, please be more tolerant and don't take it to heart. How could I hold it against a patient? It's just that her condition seems very serious, with tendencies toward violence and self-harm. As a doctor, I suggest she be sent for a thorough examination. Where should she go for the examination? Finchen retorted. Should we send her to a psychiatric center for a checkup? Finchen naturally disagreed. She's not mentally ill, she's just suffering from the aftereffects of being hurt. Is that so? I hope it's not a mental illness, but what just happened was so terrifying. I'm worried something like this might happen again in the future. I have to take precautions in advance. After all, dealing with Zara Luo once is hardly enough. In my previous life, I was tormented for a full 3 months before I finally fell into the river and drowned. No matter what, I must seek retribution for the suffering I endured. Seeing that I was emotionally stable and not arguing with him, Finchen actually made an unreasonable request of me. Sky, Zara is having an episode and can't distinguish the cause. She keeps thinking you attacked her, and she's extremely unstable right now. How about you go apologize to her and admit your mistake to calm her down? I stared fixedly at Finchen, who seemed to feel guilty under my gaze and actually avoided my eyes. Sky, just do it for me, even if it's hard on you. From now on, we're a married couple, united as one. I felt sickened and interrupted Finchen. Fine, it's just an apology, right? I'll go apologize to her. Seeing me agree so readily, Finchen breathed a sigh of relief and then added, Sky, Zara isn't in a stable state of mind right now. She might say harsh things to you or give you unpleasant orders. If she goes too far, please bear with it for my sake. I'm begging you. I looked at Finchen's guilt-ridden face, my heart as cold as ice, falling for someone like this. No wonder I died so pitifully in my past life, since he cares so deeply for Zara Luo. How could I possibly come between them? No matter what, I have to lock down that despicable couple. I promised Finchen to go to the hospital to apologize to Zara Luo and asked him to accompany me. Finchen followed me to the hospital entrance but was called away for an emergency task. Before leaving, he didn't forget to repeatedly remind me, Sky, you must hold back. Absolutely must not provoke Zara. I obediently agreed and watched as Finchen's people disappeared. Then I quickly entered the hospital building. In the hospital room, Zara Luo was leaning against the head of the bed, her head tightly bandaged. Hearing the door open, she turned to look. Once she saw it was me, Zara Luo's eyes were filled with hatred. She viciously called out my name. Sky Luo, you finally came. I closed the door behind me and walked toward Zara Luo. Finshan sent me to apologize to you. How do you want me to apologize? Zara Luo glared at me with resentment. Sky Luo, why did you hit me? Didn't you deserve it? I looked down at her. You entered the master bedroom of my marital home without permission, and even had the audacity to lie on my wedding bed and use my wedding items. Hitting you was just a reminder. Learn some manners. You, Zara Luo trembled with anger at my words. Sky Luo, you bitch, I'm not done with you today. I'm telling you, if you want my forgiveness, you must kneel and apologize to me. Just kneeling is enough, I asked with a smile. Zara Luo thought she had me by the throat. Of course it's not just that. Besides kneeling, you also have to. Zara Luo's demand was left unfinished, interrupted by me. Alright, I've heard about your situation from Finshan. He said you're sick, and that only he can soothe your illness. I'm someone who has studied medicine. So how come I've never heard of a condition like yours? Are you sure you're not faking it as an excuse to compete with me for a man? Zara Luo's expression instantly stiffened when I exposed her thoughts. How did I manage to guess that she was faking her illness so secretly? I stared at her without blinking and dropped another bombshell. I know you're trying to hook up with Finshan. You see that Finshan got promoted and want to marry him. So you came up with this excuse of pretending to be sick to get close to him. Finshan might be foolish enough to believe you, but I'm not that easy to fool. Do you know how I'm going to deal with a disgusting thing like you? Zara Luo has no idea how I'm going to deal with her. She's still in shock from being caught faking her illness. After saying that, I quickly stepped forward, grabbed her by the hair, and slapped her face repeatedly with loud, sharp smacks. Zara Luo had always thought I came to apologize to her. It never crossed her mind that, after finding out she was faking her illness, I would come to hit her again. After slapping Zara Luo repeatedly at an extremely fast pace, I dragged her off the bed and kicked her several times fiercely. Zara Luo's face contorted in pain as she screamed hoarsely, "Someone, help! Sky Luo is attacking me." I kicked her several more times with great force, and upon hearing footsteps in the hallway, I quickly stopped and ran out of the ward. I bumped into a nurse who had heard Zara Luo's cries for help. "Quick! The patient is having another episode. She's harming herself again and even attacked me." When I rushed out of the ward, I tore the buttons off my clothes, and the hair tie snapped, leaving my hair a mess. My clothes were torn, and by all appearances, I had been attacked. The nurse, who knew me well, asked, "Dia, Tian, are you okay?" She hit me several times, but luckily I ran fast. "Hurry up and give her a sedative." No one would have believed that I would attack the patient Zara Luo. Several nurses rushed forward to restrain the howling Zara Luo and administered a sedative to her. Zara Luo fell into a deep sleep, and the nurses all breathed a sigh of relief. "Dia, Tian, why did this patient attack you?" one of the nurses asked me. "I don't know either. My fiancé said she's unwell and needs to be soothed, so he asked me to come and apologize to her." Why apologize? She always believed that I was the one who hit her. Refusing to admit that she was the one harming herself and attacking others, she demanded that my fiancé make me kneel and apologize to her, or else she would threaten to take her own life. What kind of issue is this? How come I've never heard of something like this? I don't know either, so I followed my fiancé's advice and went to apologize to her. Just as I was about to kneel, she suddenly went into a frenzy. It scared me to death. That's absolutely terrifying. Why did she only go crazy at you? Another nurse asked curiously. I sighed and put on a troubled expression. I'll only tell you this, but you must not spread it around. The nurses all nodded in agreement. I lowered my voice. When she went crazy earlier, she said that she and my fiancé used to be in a relationship. They were planning to get married, but an accident happened and they were forced to separate. Then she was abused by her husband, so my fiancé took pity on her and brought her here to take care of her. The nurses first widened their eyes in shock, then quickly looked at me with sympathy. After all, my fiancé brought his ex-girlfriend here to take care of her. And this ex-girlfriend only attacks me, his fiancé, and it's not even my fault. My fiancé even made me apologize. I'm just too pathetic. I left the hospital under the sympathetic gazes of a few young nurses. They say 3 women make a drama. And what happened between Finshan and Zara Luo will be blown out of proportion. When Finshan returns, he will be in for a very, very big surprise. Finshan returned 3 days later, without even catching a breath upon returning. I hurried to the hospital to visit Zara Luo. Zara Luo's face was still swollen like a pig's head, and upon seeing Finshin, she started crying and complaining again about how I had hit her. Finshin didn't believe Zara Luo's words at first, but then Zara Luo told him, Sky Luo is now spreading rumors everywhere that you and I have an improper relationship. Even the nurse giving me info is gossiping about me, saying I'm a homewrecker who's ruining your relationship with Sky Luo. It's so humiliating. I can't go on living like this. Finshin watched Zara Luo's desperate struggle with extreme heartache. He didn't quite believe Zara Luo's words, but she spoke with such vivid emotion. Additionally, the doctors and nurses he encountered in the hallway on his way over had looked at him with strange expressions. Finshin couldn't help but start to believe Zara Luo's words. He had to find Sky Luo and get a clear explanation. Finshin thought to himself and hurried straight to the doctor's office to find Sky Luo. I was seeing a patient when Finshin pushed the door open. He barged in with a gloomy face, and I showed a surprised expression. You're back. I have something to tell you. What are you talking about? Can't you see I'm busy? Whatever you have to say. Wait until I'm off work. My tone was very unpleasant. I had always been very gentle and compliant toward Finshin, never saying a harsh word to him. Suddenly speaking to him so coldly and harshly, Finshin was not used to it at all. Sky Luo, how did you handle the apology I asked you to give to Zara? Finshin pressed aggressively. I also sneered, apologize for what? I haven't done anything wrong, so why should I apologize? Didn't you promise me? Why did you change your mind? Why did you bully Zara? Her face is swollen from your hitting her. I immediately shouted, Finshin, what do you mean by this? You're going too far. You brought a strange woman home to live in our wedding house, letting her bully me, and now you want me to apologize to her. What on earth should I be apologizing for? As I shouted, Finshin's face turned livid. What Zara said is actually true. You really spread rumors about us outside, Sky Luo. You've really disappointed me. Disappointed? How dare you say you're disappointed? Shouldn't I be the one who's disappointed? You brought your ex-girlfriend home without even telling me and let her stay in our marital home, embarrassing me. You even allowed her to lay hands on me, and I haven't even confronted you about it yet. I'm asking you, Finshin, what exactly is your relationship with Zara Luo? Did the two of you used to date? Were you planning to get married? I was aggressive, and Finshin's face turned as dark as the bottom of a pot. With so many people watching, where would he even save face? Seeing the patient still watching us with a gossipy expression, he flew into a rage out of humiliation, shoved the patient out, and slammed the door shut. It's not just me who's embarrassed by making such a scene in public. Finshin, with a dark expression, shooed the patients out. He also closed the door and then sternly scolded me. So all those rumors outside are your doing, Sky Luo. You've let me down so much. You must give me an explanation for this, or don't blame me for what happens next. I raised my voice. Finshin, what are you trying to do? Are you breaking up with me for Zara Luo? Yes, if you don't explain this matter clearly. Our engagement is off. Finshin's threatening words fell, and I raised my hand and slapped him. With a sharp crack, 5 clear finger marks appeared on Finshin's face. He was stunned, never having dreamed that I would hit him. After slapping him once, my other hand followed, ready to make it an even number. Finshin reacted immediately and blocked it, and he even took the opportunity to grab my hand. I was a bit disappointed that my slap didn't land on his face. Being questioned and slapped by the usually docile me pushed Finshin to the peak of anger. He angrily questioned me, Sky Luo, have you lost your mind? Of course, I didn't answer. Instead, while Finshin was holding me, I suddenly raised my foot and kicked him right in the groin. Finshin was still in shock from my sudden outburst. I kicked him squarely, and his face instantly turned pale. He let go of my hand in pain, and I clutched my head, screaming as I pulled the door open and ran outside. Help! He's hitting me! Finshin is hitting me! I shouted loudly and dashed through the hallway like a rabbit, quickly disappearing from sight. Finshin, his face ashen, endured the excruciating pain below and limped out of the doctor's office. Outside in the hallway, a crowd had already gathered upon hearing the news, discussing the matter animatedly. How could they hit someone? It's absolutely outrageous. Yes, he actually hit a woman. How could he lay a hand on Dr. Tien? Who is such a good person? I heard he did it because of another woman outside. Right, I heard he even brought that other woman into the marital home he and Dr. Tien had prepared. And she even slept in their wedding bed. He pretended to be crazy and foolish while hitting Dr. Tien, and then forced her to apologize. This is outrageous, it's simply scandalous. You don't know, do you? That woman is also in the hospital now. Last time Dr. Tien came to apologize to her. And she even attacked him. If we hadn't arrived quickly, Dr. Tien would have been in serious danger. The chatter reached Fin Shen's ears, making him even angrier. He roared gruffly. What are you all crowding around for? Move aside. The crowd scattered like birds and beasts, leaving Fin Shen with a suffocating anger in his chest. He couldn't understand why I had suddenly become like this, questioning him so sharply and even hitting him. They say when hitting someone, you shouldn't hit the face. But not only did I slap his face, I also struck him in his most vulnerable spot. Fin Shen grew angrier the more he thought about it. And Zara Luo from the ward next door came out to see what was happening after hearing the noise. She had only heard that Fin Shen had hit me and didn't know the full story. Hearing that Fin Shen had hit someone, Zara Luo was overjoyed inside. She quickly made her way through the crowd and approached Fin Shen, asking with concern, "You Chen, you," seeing Zara Luo, with her swollen face, delicately approach Fin Shen. The people around them made tutting sounds. Is this the woman from outside? Exactly, calling each other so affectionately and getting handsy in front of so many people. What would happen if there were no one around? Hearing the murmurs, Zara Luo froze, while Fin Shen was both embarrassed and angry. Damn it, how did these rumors get so out of hand? He needed to find Sky Luo and have a serious talk with her, to clarify these baseless rumors, or else it could seriously affect his political career if it escalated. After running out of the hospital, I found a place to hide first. I knew Fin Shen would come looking for me. He must have heard those rumors. They say rumors can kill, and Fin Shen would never allow any stain on his reputation. After all, he wants to get promoted, he wants to climb higher. In my previous life, Zara Luo framed me, accusing me of slandering her by saying she had an ambiguous relationship with Fin Shen, and she faked a suicide to blow the incident out of proportion, to quell the public opinion. Fin Shen couldn't bear to send Zara Luo away, and instead, he turned against me, his closest companion, and resorted to poisoning me. Fin Shen shifted all the blame onto me, making everyone believe that I was making baseless accusations and that I had impure intentions, framing and slandering them. In the end, I was suspended from my position after being questioned by the organization. Fin Shen, fearing that his tarnished wife would hinder his promotion, took the initiative to sacrifice family for justice by sending me to the countryside to endure hardship. In this lifetime, Fin Shen already knows that the rumors spreading outside are extremely detrimental to him. In this situation, to avoid affecting his promotion, the first thing Fin Shen would think of is definitely to sacrifice me to clear his name. He will surely search for me everywhere, trying every possible way to persuade me to clear his name. And how could I possibly stumble in the same place twice? I will never let Fin Shen find me. After being reborn, I haven't forgotten everything I experienced in my past life. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. I won't let the instigators, Fin Shen and Zara Luo, get away with it. The suffering I endured in my previous life must be repaid in kind. It's only fair. So, for now, I must not let Fin Shen find me. I have to hide well and wait for the right moment to give them a big surprise. Fin Shen searched for me outside for a long time, asking everyone who knew me and even going to the dormitory where I lived to look for me. But he couldn't find me even after it got dark, and he waited at my dormitory until after 10 p.m. without me returning. Fin Shen thought of our marital home, and he had a hunch that I had gone back there to hide, so he rushed to the marital home without delay. From a distance, I could see the lights on in the wedding room. Fin Shen was convinced I was in the wedding room. He pushed the door open angrily and said, "Sky Luo, you." After clearly seeing the bruised and battered woman in the room, Fin Shen stopped speaking. "How did you get back from the hospital?" Zara Luo's eyes welled up with tears. "I can't live over there. The people at the hospital are all talking badly about me, pointing fingers and whispering. I really can't take it anymore. Fin, I just can't." Fin Shen looked at Zara Luo with a pained expression. "Have you eaten?" "No, I was worried about you. Fin, I don't know anyone here, so I just came back to wait for you. By the way, have you found Sky Luo?" Chen, no, I have no idea where she's hiding. Finchen sat down irritably. The events of today took him completely by surprise, while searching for Sky Luo. He couldn't understand why she had become like this. Sky Luo had always been gentle, virtuous, and put him first in everything. Why, after just a few days apart, had she become so unfamiliar? She spoke harsh words to him and even resorted to physical violence. Finchen really couldn't understand why Sky Luo had become like this. He believed that his relationship with Zara Luo was completely innocent, so why would Sky Luo think that he and Zara Luo had an improper relationship? Rumors were spreading outside that he and Zara Luo had once been together, but in reality, the only people who knew about their relationship were Zara Luo and himself. He had never told a third person, so how did people outside come to know about it? Finchen frowned as he looked at Zara Luo, who was bruised and battered. Everything changed when he brought Zara Luo back. Could it be that Zara Luo had done something behind his back that he didn't know about? Suspicion arose in his heart. But Finchen quickly dismissed the thought. Zara Luo is so pitiful, she's sick and so fragile. He shouldn't have doubted Zara Luo. But who exactly revealed the matter between him and Zara Luo? Only the two of them knew about their relationship. He didn't say anything, so it must have been Zara Luo. Finchen looked at Zara Luo again. Zara, did you ever tell anyone else about the past between us? Zara Luo shook her head like a rattle drum. No, I haven't told anyone. Then how did it get out? It was Sky Luo who spread it. She knows about our past. How is that possible? Finchen couldn't believe that Sky Luo knew about his and Zara Luo's history. So is Zara Luo deliberately framing Sky Luo? This thought made him look at Zara Luo with suspicion. Zara Luo had a guilty conscience and felt uneasy under Finchen's gaze. She didn't dare to meet Finchen's eyes and made an excuse to pour him a glass of water. Fin, have some water. Finchen, after searching for Sky Luo, was now tired, hungry, and thirsty, so he quickly drank the water he was handed. His stomach was empty and he was starving, so Finchen decided to cook a bowl of noodles to solve the problem. But as soon as he stood up, he noticed something was wrong. Everything around him began to distort. His head felt heavy and dizzy, and Zara Luo, standing in front of him with a bruised and swollen face, looked unusually alluring tonight. Finchen couldn't help but rush over and hug Zara Luo. At 2 in the morning, accompanied by the hospital leadership and a few close colleagues, I opened the door to the bridal suite with red, swollen eyes. As the door opened, strange sounds from inside immediately reached our ears. Everyone heard it clearly, and their expressions changed instantly. I took the lead, turned on the light, rushed to the master bedroom, and kicked the door open with one foot. The scene inside the room appeared before everyone's eyes. The few people accompanying me were dumbfounded, and I let out a scream. The scream in the dead of night traveled far, startling all the neighbors. Putting on their clothes, they came over one after another to see what was happening. Finchen and Zara Luo, who were embracing on the bed, were also awakened by the noise. Seeing a room full of people, Finchen suddenly sat up. What are you doing? Then he noticed Zara Luo in his arms, completely unclothed, and let out an incredulous cry. Zara Luo was pushed hard by him and fell to the ground with a thud. It's not what you think, Finchen tried to explain, wanting to prove his innocence. But in this situation, even if he had 100 mouths, he couldn't clear his name. I burst into loud sobs, while the onlookers chattered and gossiped. This is outrageous. Indeed, I used to doubt the rumors were true, but I never expected they'd be caught in the act in public. Such a disgrace to decency, truly disgraceful. Finchen and Zara Luo were tied up and taken away. I covered my face and cried uncontrollably, but in my heart, I was overjoyed. Finchen and Zara Luo, now it's your turn to experience the pain I endured in my previous life. Finchen and Zara Luo were locked up. This matter has an extremely negative impact, and the leadership has arranged for someone to interrogate them. Finchen definitely wants to deny it, but this is not something he can deny. After all, they were caught red-handed. Finchen has been protesting his innocence, claiming he was set up. Because of this, the higher-ups arranged for someone to conduct another inspection of the wedding room shared by me and Finchen, but nothing was found. How could any clues possibly be found? After all, I was the one who planned it all. I knew Finchen and Zara Luo would return to the wedding suite, and I knew they would drink water, so I put something in the kettle beforehand. when Finshin and Zara Luo were taken away. I immediately washed the kettle and the teacups. All the evidence was destroyed by me. No one would find any suspicious points, and even if Finshin sensed something amiss, he couldn't clear his name. Finshin kept protesting his innocence. While Zara Luo was different from him, Zara Luo was pushed to the brink, and fear and terror made her confess everything without holding back, including pretending to be ill to seek Finshin's care and have him look after her. Including her intention to marry Finshin. The outcome, as one might expect, was that engaging in promiscuous relationships was considered a serious offense. Both Finshin and Zara Luo were sent to the countryside. Finshin and Zara Luo finally experienced the unbearable suffering I endured in the countryside in my previous life. During the day, they were forced to work in the fields, and at night, they were taken to a makeshift stage for ideological education. It's the same experience I had in my previous life, but even worse than mine. After all, in my previous life, the charges against me were fabricated out of thin air, whereas they truly deserved the severe punishment for their immoral and scandalous behavior. Zara Luo and Finshin suffered even more torment than I did. Finshin was beaten frequently, while Zara Luo was not only beaten but also stripped and publicly humiliated. The village bachelors would try to break into Zara Luo's door at night. At first, she resisted, but eventually, she resigned herself to the situation and went along with the bachelors. After all, an old bachelor could secretly get her some food to fill her stomach. 6 months later, I went with a medical team to offer support and saw Zara Luo being publicly shamed. She was naked with worn-out shoes hanging around her neck, and rotten vegetables, small stones, and mud were mercilessly thrown at Zara Luo. She fell and was pulled up to continue, like a puppet. Her gaze sweeping over me sitting in the car, Zara Luo's dull eyes suddenly flashed with ferocity as she frantically lunged forward. "It's you, it was you all along, you're the one behind this." Naturally, Zara Luo couldn't reach me. She was only able to charge a short distance before being roughly dragged back. Amid the sound of punches and kicks, I listened to her screams and walked away expressionlessly. On the final day of the support mission, just as we were preparing to return, Finshin came looking for me. He became dark and thin. Clearly having suffered a great deal, Finshin tried to approach me. "Sky, I have something to say to you." "What is it?" I looked at him mockingly and laughed. His lips trembled as he struggled to explain to me. "I'm not Zara Luo and I only had a past relationship, and it's all over. I swear I've always wanted to marry you. I just wanted to help her. She shamelessly set me up." He gritted his teeth and cursed Zara Luo. "That Luo woman is heartless and shameless. May she die a horrible death." "Sky, you have to believe me." "So what if I believe you? Sky, can you put in a good word for me and help me leave this place?" I stared at him without blinking. "Leave? Where do you want to go?" "I want to be with you." "Sky, help me get out of here, and I'll treat you well from now on. As soon as I leave this place, we'll get married right away. I swear I'll be good to you for the rest of my life." I burst out laughing. "Do you think I would still marry you? Why don't you take a look at yourself in the mirror?" Finshin's lips trembled. "No, didn't you love me so much? We used to." "Shut up." I cut off Finshin's next words with disgust. "Finshin, don't mention the word love, it's disgusting." "Sky, I was set up. It was Zara Luo who set me up. She's a shameless woman who will stop at nothing." I shouldn't have. I couldn't help but laugh. "You've wronged Zara Luo. She didn't set you up." "What? Then who set me up? Who was it? Far away as the edge of the sky, yet right before your eyes. Is it you?" "It's actually you." Finshin looked at me in disbelief. "Why? Why would you do this?" "Of course, it's for revenge." "Finshin, you won't have a chance to go back. You'll stay here for the rest of your life, until you die. This is your fate. This is what you owe me." After I finished speaking, I coldly turned and walked away, while Finshin roared furiously behind me. "Just you wait, Sky Luo. Just you wait. I'm going to report you. I'm going to sue you. I'm waiting. I'm just afraid you'll never get that chance." I turned back with a smile. "By the way, there's something I forgot to tell you. I'm getting married. The date is set for the 8th of next month, and you know the groom too, your direct superior, Chief Gu. How is that possible? How could you and Chief Gu possibly be together?" Finshin didn't believe it. "You're lying to me, aren't you? You must be lying. You love me so much. I've been waiting for you to save me. How could you ignore me? How could you marry someone else? I ignored Finshan and just walked toward the nearby jeep. Finshan chased after me. Sky Luo, explain this to me. Give me a clear explanation. He tried to grab my hand, but he missed. Someone had already pushed him away. Finshan fell to the ground. Looking at the person who pushed him, he recognized him. This was Chief Gu's bodyguard, who had always stayed close to Chief Gu. Now this person was following him. So was what he said true? Am I really going to marry Chief Gu? Finshan slumped to the ground like a deflated balloon, muttering to himself. Why is this happening? No one answered him. Only Finshan knew he would never have the chance to overturn his case in this lifetime.